our small engine sound like that when it runs with the choke off? Let's find out why and how to fix it. Okay, so it definitely sounds like it's a lean condition. It does smarten up a little bit if you run it on, just run the choke on a little bit. It'll start to smoothen out. Then it starts to run too rich, but it does smoothen out with a little bit of choke, so I'm leaning towards the lean condition. It's probably after done all gum in the bottom of the carburetor. What I'm doing on this side is to get all this plasticky stuff off, all the Tupperware out of here. We got to get that shield off, and that shield is bolted underneath the push button for the recoil starter, or push button for the electric starter. I'm just going to pull that off. We can just gain access to the bolt. A couple of Phillips screws, and the bolt is missing, so didn't need to. There we go, that'll come off. We got to get this choke off of here. These can be a bear sometimes, but we're going to get a pair of needle nose in behind there. Let's get this pulled off. The choke knob, and then a couple of 10 mils here, 10 mil, 10 mil. Might be it. Maybe. There's no fuel shut off on this, so I'm trying to gain access to the hose so I can pinch it off and not run fuel everywhere. So, 10s and pliers. There's choke knob. Oh. I'm gonna pull it and wiggle. Wow, it's in there. So we get the throttle knob off. Oh man, these are tight. They're not friendly. There. Yeah, they're tight. The choke knob should come off of there a lot easier than that though. They're usually not stuck. Oh yeah. Lucky me, I guess. Not sure. Maybe I could sneak it out. No, it's attached. That's got to come off. Let's get these out of here though. 10 mil, 10 mil. Threads into the cover. There's 2 more 10s on this side. I've just got to come out with a wrench. And these 2 10s. What else am I going to do? I'm going to take the 2 out of this side, and I'm going to get something better pliers on that. See if we can wiggle that out. We might be able to get it behind it with the needle nose. Or a little assistant. Oh yeah, it started to move. They're just not fun. Combination of pliers and needle nose. Man, it's on there. Holy smokes. Just doesn't want to let go. Well, whew, that was easy. Yep, choke still works, so we're good. Still gotta get these 10 mils out of the side, these bolts here, 2 of them. Wrench them out, these 2, and then I'll show you what it looks like with the covers off. Alright, so we got those covers off. It's a little fidgeting around. They're all a little bit different. A little hose here and there. That's a breather tube, and had to pull the primer hose off, but I just tucked it out of the way. Let's get some needle nose vice grips on that fuel line and pinch it off. You don't want to go too tight and break it or crush it. You just want to squish it enough that it doesn't leak. And we can wiggle this off. This is our choke support plate. Just get that out of the way. Should be like a little Z bend on there. Oh, there is. Set that to the side. There's just the carburetor slide in there. Disconnect the governor damper spring and the fuel line down here. I have electrical tape on my needle nose pliers because I changed a light bulb in a Volkswagen. A little tiny light bulb. You got to reach way in and grab it with needle nose pliers. Hey, stupid Volkswagen. There's our spring clip for the fuel line. Oh, come on. Let's work the fuel line off. Little dribble. Yep, and it stopped. So that's good. Fuel damper, or governor damper spring. You need to get them off, but you don't want to mangle them either. So just gentle. You don't want to change the geometry of the spring or the tension of it. Unhook it. Open up the throttle. Just slide the throttle rod out. And that whole mesh should come right off. There we go. Carburetor off. This gasket is still good and it's stuck, so I don't want to mess with it. So a couple of things. It could be plugged up on the jet here for the main jet. Also, there's a pilot up here. It's a jet, but it's a fixed jet. So it could be plugged up. We're going to take that off and clean it anyways. I'm going to get this on the bench. We'll get it apart and we'll have a look. Okay, jumping in. There's a screw on the top here. It's a throttle screw, but it's not actually being used. It's just kind of sitting there to hold that pilot in. So we'll get to that just by unscrewing it. There was no adjustment on it because it's just barely hanging in there. But this is that little pilot piece. Let's see if we can get that popped out of there. There's a tiny little hole in the end of this. It usually gets messed up. A little tiny guitar string. Whatever the smallest guitar string is, I have one here. That's what I use for that. And sometimes it's too big to fit in that hole. The first thing I check anyways is this. So I'm going to shove it in the end of the hole here. There's a little chunk of stuff. There's a window through the side you can just barely see. That's a little dirty. It was. I don't think that's our main issue. I'm going to hit that with carb clean in a second. Let's get that fuel bowl off of there. Well, it's not terrible in there. Not bad at all. We'll look right down the main here. Might be a little dirty. Let me get a different screwdriver. The screwdriver bit is only used for jets. It's never been used on a metal screw. Yeah, these are always fun to get out. Oh, there, came out. No, it's not plugged. There's your emulsion tube. See if there's any pluggage in there. Just lightly blow on it to get the fuel out of the holes in the tube. No, it's not even plugged. What I'm going to do is I might open that up. I've got a little tiny drill bit that I can get in there with. We're going to spray it with carb clean too, but there's no sense putting that in the ultrasonic cleaner. Everything's clean. So we'll hit this carb clean. We'll hit that jet with carb clean. Like I said, I might open that up. Okay, let me get the cleaner. I'll get those things cleaned up. I'm also going to shoot carb cleaner up in that. Just up here, in here. There's a tiny little hole in there that needs to be cleared out. Stand by. So there you go. I temporarily put the carb back on there with a little bit of spacers. Let's see my 3/8 nuts and a quarter drive socket here. Just to push the carb against the intake at the back so it doesn't cause a vacuum leak. But anyway, that's, yeah. Didn't even have to drill the pilot out on that one. Sometimes you do. Sometimes if cleaning them doesn't fix it, you drill the pilot out just a tiny little drill bit, like a microscopic one that I have, and that'll do it. But let me show you this spark plug. We know it's been running lean, and to get it to run, I'm sure he's been running it on choke a little bit, but look how black. Not my hands. Look how black the end of that spark plug is. It got a new NGK to replace this thing. Ew. Torch spark plugs. Get it away! I don't like those. Anyways, NGK in there now. Runs great. I'm going to throw the plastics back on there. Put the Tupperware back installed. And call the customer. Come get this thing. It's ready. Before we let this one get away, we're going to look into the drive system just to make sure everything is moving and lubricated the way it should be at the customer's request. So, let's see. Get out of there. Sometimes you find mouse house in there. Friction wheel looks good. Gear drive, no chain in there. It looks all right. Wheel looks good, no grooves in it. We're going to clean that. Check our speed adjustments. There's a lot of spring tension on it, but it moves nice and free. This hexagonal shaft here, we're going to put a little grease on it. I'm going to clean it and grease it. All right, paper towel. Need some brake parts cleaner. We'll just give everything a wipe, including that friction wheel. Make sure there's no oil residue on it. First thing, we'll do the wheel. Ew. Good and clean. Just get that metal one done. Okay. A little wiping on the hex shaft here. That's the shaft that drives everything. We'll swing if it's in 6th gear, we'll bring it all the way back to reverse 2. That should move everything out of our way. So we can get this side done. There we are. This side of the wheel. Nice and clean, and we'll get some lithium grease. A white lithium, because white lithium doesn't tend to thicken up and get sticky when it's cold. You don't need much, just a little. Just a little bit will do. Just gonna move it all over the shaft here. Doesn't have to be a lot. If you put too much on it, runs a risk of getting onto that friction wheel, the rubber. And we'll put her back into 6th gear here. And we'll just put a little bit on the other side. Like literally tiny little spot like that. That's all you need. It's always good to check this stuff out. A lot of times this gets really rusty, this shaft. That's a real pain to shift gears. Done. Here, back in its home. Beautiful. Already done the spark plug. He requested a new spark plug, just because he's never done one before on this. And it shows it's original. Requested a spark plug. Gonna run it smooth and check the drive system. All done. Okay. Back route. Thanks for joining me, guys, in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Dingle that bell. We'll let you know when I upload new stuff. Till the next one, take care.